All right. So today I want to talk about a topic that not a lot of people talk about. I want to talk about something that's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird. But I want to talk about incels today. You know what I'm saying? Just I don't know why. I just want to talk about incels just because, it's just something that's been on my mind. I've been thinking about like, why would people want to become incels, or like what purpose do incels really serve? You know what I'm saying? Like what do they do? What are they here for? What's their purpose? Why be an incel? You know what I'm saying? Like why would somebody willingly want to be an incel? Right? So basically, like let's start off with like what is an incel basically defined as, right? Like, the classical definition, the extreme definition, and then I'll give you like the definition that I've seen, right? So like the classical definition of an incel is just a dude or a male who is just all about male supremacies, all about male does this, male dominance, just male superiority. That's what they're about. That's what they're all about, completely about. That's what it is, right? And they do it in a way to where they believe that men should be completely above every other creature on this planet, and that every other creature below them, the next one will then be the young boy, and then the woman, and then everybody else following that, right? And then the extreme definition that I've like heard a lot of people or just seen around is that they're just they're just down bad individuals, right? They're people that like they're the fake nice guys. You know what I'm saying? They're the fake alpha nice guys. They're the fake I'm so nice, let me get pussy type people, right? They're the oh my god, I complimented you, give me some neck type people, right? They're those individuals, right? And that's not a good look. That's definitely not a good look, right? Now the definition I've like come is that they're traditionalists, right? They're mad traditional. They're traditional in the way of like they believe in a very, I want to say like 1950, 1890, like just old type of living where the man has all the power and the woman is just basically a house slave. That's basically the woman can stay at home and cook and clean and take care of the kids, and that's about it. And that's really what they believe in, or that's what I've seen. Like that's what I've seen a lot of incels rhetoric be, right? Like I've looked around and like I don't see a lot of them, preaching for any type of like equal ground. It's mainly like we do this, you do that, but we have all of this, and you really got some of that, right? So like let's talk about like how do they, I want to talk about like how I think or how I feel they come to be, right? So like some people may be like, well, how do you even become an incel? Like, why would you become an incel? Like, why would you even choose to become an incel? There's really no benefit in becoming one, right? And that's like personally, I believe there's really no benefit in becoming an incel at all. Can't see it, right? But what I think some people do is that like either there's a couple situations out. So it's like number one, they'll have a bad relationship, or they just had a bad experience with women in general, right? I'm talking about a shitty relationship or a shitty experience early in their childhood. They might have been abused by a woman. They might have been cheated in a relationship. Just something that's made them devalue women as a whole. And I know it's kind of bad to basically base your whole entire standing on a whole entire type of human being, right? On basically like a couple relationships you've had, but like that's how some people feel. That's how some people, react to the situations that they've been put through, and that's just how it is, right? So I feel like those are like that's one of the situations where like people then become incels, and then they'll start forming ideals of like male superiority, or men need to be dominant, or men need to take role in everything, and men can't show emotions because the females are just going to abuse it, shit like that, right? Also feel like they come through like peer pressure. Like a lot of things do come through peer pressure where it's like, they'll be in a friend group, and let's say one friend in the group that they really fuck with, they really mess with is an incel, or they show incel tendencies. Now, say that friend wants, or they thinking in their head, oh my, I want my friend to be just like me. I want my friend not to get tricked by any of these females. Now they're gonna keep pushing their ideals on that person, and if you're young and as a friend, you're gonna follow your friend if you really admire them or if you really look up to them. So they're gonna then turn into an incel and form into, start developing incel values and everything. And then I feel like some people are tricked into being incels. I ain't gonna hold you, right? Because some people glorify, like they glorify, but they're like, oh yes, it's just men being standing up for themselves and really being men, really being strong traditional men, really taking a stand for what they believe in, right? And they'll make it seem really good, and some people fall for it. Like it's just a simple trick, and some people of course fall for the simple trick. Uh, it happens in everything, right? And it can happen in this case too, right? Now I've thought to myself like, okay, so what do incels do, right? Figured out what they are, how they can form a little bit, but what do they do? Like, what is the purpose of being an incel? Like, why are you an incel? You know what I'm saying? Like, why be an incel, right? And what I'm saying is that like they're an incel because they want to either go back to the old ways where it was just men being dominant in all types of setting and everything like that, or they want to, and they preach about that, right? Or they push that and try to get it like accepted as like just a universal thing, right? I feel like that's mainly their purpose and everything like that. They're basically there to be the trying to think of like a nice way to put it. I want to say like the example of the old times, I guess, like the younger example of the old time. Like that's probably the closest way I could put it to. I'm giving them the real benefit of the doubt here, but like that's it, right? And then let's talk about like the incels and how their images affect others, right? Like I don't know about you, but personally, incels just give dudes a bad image. They just it's not a good image at all. It's definitely not good. Like you'll be sitting around and it's just like, you know, they'll start speaking, and because they started speaking and preaching their values and everything like that, and they do it really heavy sometimes too, they give the image that dudes just believe that females are shit. They believe that females shouldn't have any type of power, any type of control, any type of say in anything, right? And they bring down the image of dudes, right? So like in an issue where like, okay, let's say females are, preaching about their rights, or they want more equality in a certain situation or a certain setting, right? The dudes who first respond will be the incels. Like they're just waiting on this type of stuff. They're just waiting for it to happen so they can come out and be like, nah, you don't need any rights. You have enough. We gave you enough. Like type shit like that, right? And now they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm an incel 1, 2, 3, nothing like that, right? So it's like all they see is that that's a comment from a dude, right? And now they just gave everybody else who's just either sitting back here chilling, relaxing, living their best life a bad image, or they're just giving people who are actually like trying to stand for the cause, they gave them even worse image, because now the females are gonna be like, well, I don't know. I mean, like, I've seen a lot of dissupport for these type of things because of there's a group of people right here. Now that brings me to the point, or like, can incels be kind of like a necessary evil? Now that may sound weird because I was just shitting on them for like the whole entire past like 8 minutes. I just been shitting on incels, right? But like, could it be like a necessary evil? And hear me out when I say it. It's like in a situation where there is an imbalance or there is a negative, right? And someone's bringing a positive to the situation, right? Could a bigger negative make that positive seem more impactful? You get what I'm saying? So like, let's take today's talk on feminism or feminists and everything like that, right? Now, being a feminist and preaching about female rights and everything like that is a very important thing to do, and it's just important in general, right? Now, that being said, if incels weren't in the picture, it would still be just as important, and the issue would not have changed. But because incels are in the issue, it now shows that it shows an opposition, or it shows an actual, I want to say, pushback against it. So it makes the push against that pushback even more impactful. It gives a good image. It allows you to visualize and actually see the issue, see the problem. So our incels like kind of like the needed villain in a situation where you can actually see the issue and actually recognize the issue and actually point out, okay, there's a group of people who literally, by definition define what the issue is and why it's still an issue. So in that case, it's kind of like saying, in my head, it's kind of like saying, incels do serve a bigger purpose other than just being kind of dicks, I think. But even saying that, it's like I don't believe that every incel is a dick. Like I said beforehand, there's very extreme cases of them where they're completely just against women's rights in every type of way. They're completely against equality. They don't believe in equality. They believe that females are just below the niggas and below every man in general, right? And those are like the people who are extreme. Those are people who are just, they're doing too much, right? That shouldn't be something that you should be thinking of, right? But then you get into the people who just believe in traditional values. And Could it be said to be wrong to believe in traditional values that you've been raised to, believe in your whole entire life? I mean, like, it is wrong to then, try to push those on to people in a way, that's kind of rude and malicious and everything like that, right? And you do have, like, you know, a lot of sources to kind of look up and find information about, the changing times and everything like that. But even then, if you've been raised your whole entire life to believe in traditional values and believe that, men should be the head of the household, men should do this, men should do that, and everything like that, and you've been taught this by your parents, people that you're supposed to trust, love, care for, and seek guidance from, right? And if you've just been taught this your whole entire life, even with open sources and everything, you're still going to be drawn and still going to be thinking of more the what your parents taught you, which is more of like traditional, down back in the olden days type stuff, where the woman stays home with the kids. She doesn't work at all. She really doesn't do anything other than a couple hobbies here and there, maybe with like the females around the neighborhood, and you go do everything, right? And you have all say in the house, all control, right? And I feel like that's kind of like what a large portion of incels, still be, like I said, of how they're formed and everything. The parents play a large part in how incels are formed, and a large part in really how their children grow up and begin to accept things in life and stuff like that. And if you want to solve the issue of incels and everything like that, I believe, like, I kind of think it first starts, like, you got to really settle the issue with how they grew up, right? How they grew up, because I don't think it's like one day. Personally, I don't think it's like one day someone literally wakes up out of their bed and is like, you know what, I'm gonna be an incel today. I'm feeling real incelish. I'm feeling real big masculinity. I don't think they wake up and they decide that. You know what I'm saying? So, yep, that's all I had to say about it. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to talk about the issue a little bit more, but I feel like I said a good bit on it. I would love to hear what you guys think and everything like that. What people think. Just tell me down in the comments. I love discussions. You know what I'm saying? I always love discussions. Period.